For the first time since 1974, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has announced that Israel's military has temporarily seized control of a demilitarized buffer zone in the occupied Golan Heights. Israeli troops were deployed beyond the buffer zone, which was established by the 1974 Separation of Forces Agreement between Israel and Syria. Netanyahu said he ordered his forces to enter the buffer zone and commanding positions nearby to the Israeli-occupied part of the Golan. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Saar described this as a temporary move until the security situation along the border stabilizes. After yesterday's developments, the Kremlin announced that Russia granted political asylum to Bashar al-Assad and his family after a decision made by President Vladimir Putin. While the Kremlin noted that Putin has no immediate plans to meet Assad, it described the next phase in Syria as challenging due to the instability. The Kremlin also plans to discuss the future of Russian bases in Syria with the country's new authorities. Meanwhile, Syrian Prime Minister Mohammed Ghezi Jalali, who remained in his post after Assad's fall, has tried to maintain a sense of normalcy. Ghazi said that most cabinet ministers are still working from offices in Damascus. He also said that the government is coordinating with all factions in an effort to create a path toward a united and peaceful Syria. Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden has announced that his administration will collaborate with partners in Syria to manage risks and seize opportunities. Speaking at the White House, Biden confirmed US support for Syria's neighbors during the transition and stressed that Assad should be held accountable. He finished by noting that Syria is in a period of uncertainty. The Washington Post has reported that the United States is considering delisting Hayat Tahrir al-Sham from its terrorist organizations to promote stability in Syria. An American official cited in the report said the move is under serious evaluation, including HTS's independence from Turkey. The German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has expressed support for Syrians seeking a peaceful future. Scholz emphasized the possibility of a national dialogue, orderly transition, and political solution to the conflict. Speaking in Berlin, Scholz stated that Germany, alongside international partners and in line with UN Security Council resolutions, would contribute to this effort. The UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has called on the Syrian people to seize the opportunity for peace after 14 years of war. He emphasized that Syria's future should be determined by Syrians, with the support of Special Envoy Geir Pedersen. Guterres urged a peaceful political transition and respect for human rights, highlighting the need for international support. He also stressed the importance of preserving Syria's sovereignty, unity, and territorial integrity while honoring those affected by the conflict. Pedersen echoed calls for protecting civilians and institutions. The UN Security Council is to convene for an emergency session on the situation in Syria today, following the fall of the Assad regime. The emergency session, called by Russia, will be held behind closed doors as world and regional powers call for stability in the civil war-racked Middle Eastern country. China's foreign ministry has called for a swift political solution in Syria. She added that the political solution aims to restore stability after armed groups seized the capital and the president fled to Russia. The spokesperson, Mao Ning, urged all parties to prioritize the Syrian people's interests and emphasized that China is closely monitoring the situation during her regular briefing.